As President Donald Trump unveiled his ambitious new Board of Peace, a notable absence is drawing sharp attention. Denmark was never invited. According to Politico, Copenhagen did not receive an offer to join Trump's proposed peace body, a decision that comes after Denmark firmly rejected Trump's attempts to acquire Greenland. The exclusion lands amid a growing backlash from traditional US allies. France, the United Kingdom, Sweden, and Norway have all declined to participate, openly questioning the board's mandate and warning it could undermine the existing UN-led international order. Britain refused to attend the signing ceremony altogether. France stayed away. Germany's leader did not appear. On stage instead were leaders closely aligned with Trump, including Hungary's Viktor Orban and Argentina's Javier Milei, alongside officials from countries across the Middle East, Central Asia, and Eastern Europe. Around 35 nations have committed so far, out of as many as 60 invitations. Among them, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, Pakistan, and the UAE. Also signing on, Belarus, a move raising eyebrows given its close ties to Russia and strained relations with the West. The board's stated focus, enforcing a lasting ceasefire in Gaza. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the priority was making peace endure.
People thought what was happening in Gaza was impossible to solve. 28 hostages that were dead, others that were still living, all these hostages that were being held. No one thought that that would ever come to a resolution without more fighting and more bloodshed along the way. In fact, frankly, many thought it was intractable. And sadly, many of the institutions that have served us well, in many cases, for the last 70 years, were unable to do anything about it. But President Trump had the vision and the courage to dream the impossible, to believe that it was doable, and to pursue it with all of his heart. And he was in that capacity assisted by an extraordinary team, and I think both Jared and Steve deserve a tremendous amount of credit. Jared Kushner and Steve Woodcock for all the work they put in. And all of our partners here today. And now we have this Board of Peace, who I believe's possibilities are endless. Obviously with a focus first and foremost on making sure that this peace deal in Gaza becomes enduring. And I know this president has it as his highest priority, and will give it everything he has to make sure that this is successful. I also want to acknowledge the extraordinary leaders that are here today. This is not just a board of peace, this is a board of action. Just like President Trump is a president of action. A lot of times people like to give speeches. I've been to many of these forums, and they're not useless, and they're not, they have utility in many cases. But oftentimes in international affairs, we often find ourselves at events where people are reading these scripted statements, these strongly worded letters that they put out, but no action, nothing happens. This is a group of leaders that are about action. And the President of the United States is a president of action, of getting things done. And today is the beginning of that, of a new era and a new stage that we think is so important as a model to the rest of the world of what is possible. And clearly the focus is right now on Gaza and making sure that the plan that's about to be presented to you here today, this vision for the future of Gaza, this vision for the future of the region, is not just possible and promising. It is our destiny if we put the time and the effort that it requires, as I know this board will do. But I also think it will serve as an example of what's possible in other parts of the world.
Trump struck a harder tone, warning Hamas must disarm or face what he called the end of them.
And I've been very clear that Hamas must return that last remaining deceased hostage as well, and that will be the full commitment. And then we get on to other things, and we're committed to ensuring Gaza is demilitarized, properly governed, and beautifully rebuilt. It's going to be a great plan, and that's where the Board of Peace really started. And I think we can spread out to other things as we succeed with Gaza. We're going to be very successful in Gaza.
But nowhere has the fallout been more severe than in Europe. Speaking at Davos a day earlier, Trump dismissed Denmark as a small country, accused it of failing to defend Greenland, and called it ungrateful for resisting US demands. He went further, saying the United States was stupid to have accepted Danish sovereignty over Greenland after World War II.
We want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones. We want Europe to be strong. Ultimately, these are matters of national security, and perhaps no current issue makes the situation more clear than what's currently going on with Greenland. Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland? I was going to leave it out of the speech, but I think I would have been reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark, tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II, when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled, we did it, we felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory. And hold it we did, at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it.
Hours later, Trump abruptly reversed course, dropping threatened tariffs on European allies after agreeing with NATO on what he called a framework for Arctic security. Yet, the damage was already done. European officials tell CNN the episode has seriously strained transatlantic relations, distracted from Ukraine, and handed strategic advantages to China and Russia. Sweden's deputy prime minister warned NATO is not out of the woods. Another European diplomat described the week as a whirlwind of absurdity to CNN. Still, Trump insists the United States is winning. He claims Washington now has total access to Greenland for defense purposes with no time limits, including the ability to deploy the Golden Dome missile defense system. A peace board launched without key allies. A Greenland dispute shaking NATO unity. And a transatlantic relationship under visible strain. What was meant to project global leadership is instead exposing deep fractures, not just over peace, but over power, trust, and the future of the Western alliance.